Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Krakow. In this video, I'll be talking about self-doubt, which is something that plagues each one of us on a regular basis. Now, one thing you should know is that self-doubt is not something that is common just to you. Self-doubt happens to each one of us, every one of us on a regular basis. If you look at the history of our country in Ramayana, Hanumanji, when he first saw Lanka, he had self-doubt. He felt that, okay, can we actually defeat Lanka? But he was able to convince himself. The second thing that he actually told was that, no, even if Lanka is powerful, we also have Sri Ram and Lakshman, so we can also fight them and we can defeat them. But unfortunately, the thing about self-doubt is that it keeps reoccurring. So even for Hanumanji, after a few days when he was not able to find Sita, again he was stuck with self-doubt. And he went into a negative spiral where he thought that, okay, I'm not able to find Sita. All my efforts of coming here are wasted. Even if I put in effort, I've looked all around Lanka, I won't find her. But again, he was able to motivate himself. He told himself that, okay, if I'm stuck in this negative spiral, there is no way I'll find Sita. The only way I'll find her is by looking all around Lanka. One of the things that he actually says is that I'll keep looking all around Lanka again and again until I actually find Sita. This is a quote that I find very inspiring because even when I'm working for my goals, even when I'm chasing any target, in the middle I feel that, okay, even if I'm putting in the effort, I won't succeed. And then I always tell myself that, okay, is the effort worth putting in? But immediately I tell myself that, okay, I'll continue to do whatever is needed until I succeed. Even when my brain tells me that, okay, even if you put all that effort, what if you don't succeed? But I tell myself that I'm going to do it again and again and again until I succeed. Because I feel that the more I motivate myself, only then will I put in that effort. Because you listen to your thoughts for 24 hours a day. And if you're hearing only demotivating thoughts, you won't put in that effort. So I try to motivate myself as much as possible and I take that story as an inspiration. Another thing I want to tell you is one of the key things that you have to do to overcome this self-doubt is by being positive. You have to keep motivating yourself. You have to tell yourself that whatever is the target, you will achieve it. In the first time or the second time when you're actually saying it, you won't probably believe it. For example, if there is a student who scored say 70 percentile in CAT and who's targeting 99 percentile. 99 percentile seems scary. But once you say that I'm going to hit 99 percentile, even if you don't believe it, if you say it, it sounds less scary. The fifth time you say I'm going to hit 99 percentile, then you need not tell this to anybody, but you can keep telling this to yourself. You can keep telling yourself multiple times that I'm going to hit 99 percentile. Because after the 10th time or the 15th time, 99 percentile doesn't seem so scary. When you have scored 70 percentile, initially it might seem like, okay, 99 percentile is so high, it is very difficult. Maybe 99 percentile is only for IITians or people who have gone to NITs. But when you tell yourself multiple times that you are going to hit it, then it feels less scary. Then you will start looking for solutions. That is basically my second tip. If you want to overcome self-doubt, you have to work towards your goal. It is easy to tell yourself that, okay, even if I'm putting in that effort, maybe I won't reach my goal. But then you have to tell yourself that, okay, I'm going to do this again and again and again until I hit my goal. That is how you motivate yourself. So suppose you tell yourself for 15 times that you are going to hit 99 percentile. After the 15th time, you'll ask yourself, okay, right now I'm at 70 percentile. If I have to hit 99 percentile, what should I do? My score in verbal is this much, my score in LRDA is this much, my score in quant is this much. From 70, how can I increase it to 80? From in LRDA also say from 60, how can I increase it to 80? Then you start looking for solutions. But for you to look for solutions, you should actually believe it. Once you have that belief, you'll work harder. That is why I would tell anybody who is suffering with self-doubt to tell themselves motivating things. Tell and say your target out loud. When you tell your target out loud, after a few times, it appears less scary. I'll also tell you about one story. This is a story of a student who used to work at Krakow a few years back, who also had a lot of self-doubts. So this person did not go to any IITs. He did not go to any NITs. He went to a good college, but it is not a college which is in the top 30 or top 40 names in the country. It is not a college you would think of as a very good institute. If I asked you to name, say, 10 institutes, this college will not come in it. This person was in Hindi medium till his 10th. In his 10th, I think he scored 80 plus. But in his 11th and 12th, he shifted to English medium. Till then, he comes from a small town in North India. So he was not really used to speaking English. So when he immediately switched to English, his score in his 12th dropped tremendously. I think he scored in his 60s in his 12th. Then he got into this engineering college and he scored in the 70s. So his profile is a GEM candidate who scored 8 in 10th, 6 in 12th and 7 in engineering. He took CAT once or twice. I think he took it maybe 2 times before he joined us. And the first time I think he scored in his early 90s. The second time he scored well in quant and LRDA. I think the second time he took CAT, in quant and LRDA he scored 99 plus. But in verbal he scored very, very poorly. He scored I think in the mid 60s or so. So when I got his profile as a content manager, I immediately realized that, okay, this guy is decent or pretty good at quant and LRDA. But his verbal is very, very poor. And when we interviewed him also, we could see that he was completely struggling, speaking even 1 or 2 sentences in English. So at that time, I had a doubt because when we are hiring people, we look for good profiles. We look for profiles who ideally scored 888 in 10th and also have done reasonably well in all the 3 subjects. Because we want somebody to join us and join a good MBA institute next year. Unfortunately, the way things are, if the profile is not very good, it is difficult for them to actually go. So before we hired him, I myself had doubts. When I talked to him, he convinced me that he is a hard worker. He will do whatever it takes to get into a top institute. So we hired him. He was a good employee. He was working well. So when I was tracking his CAT preparation, I realized that he was always taking full length mocks. And in the full length mocks, his percentile was good. His percentile used to be 97, 98. But when I asked for the section split, the same thing used to happen. He used to do well in quant and LRDA, but very poorly in verbal. Then I asked him, why are you taking full length mocks? Because very clearly, one of the key issues is you have to improve in verbal. But then he had this self-doubt. He felt that, okay, if I take only verbal, my score in the verbal section will be very poor and then I'll be very demotivated. But then I told him that, see, I know, all of us know that your verbal is clearly the area you have to work in. Now, just by taking a full length mock, your overall score will look good, but you will not get over your anxiety or your self-doubt. The only way you get over your self-doubt is by actually facing it. So I told him that you have to take verbal sectionals. Ignore full-length mocks because anyways you're doing well in quant and LRDA. Just focus on verbal sectionals. And the first few verbal sectionals that he took, he did very poorly. But I told him that to take verbal sectionals on a regular basis and maintain a diary. Every time you take a verbal sectional, note down how many marks you scored. So over a period of time, he started improving. And when he started improving, he also felt motivated. He was not getting very high percentile, but at least it was not negative. It was not single digit. So in a verbal sectional, if he used to score 12 or 13 marks, he used to feel that this is pretty good. And then when he got his motivation, he used to come to us for more tips. And then I told him that, okay, whatever it takes, okay, whenever you're doing anything, you have to ensure that you're improving by 1%. So for example, if you feel that your verbal is not good, start watching English movies, start reading English newspapers, start reading anything and everything to do with English. I know that he had a lot of trouble in speaking in English. So we used to tell him in office that don't speak in Hindi, with everybody speak only in English, because then you'll get over your fear of English. So for a few months, he started speaking only in English. Even though he had issues in speaking in English, we just wanted him to overcome his fear. So he used to give speeches, he used to talk, anything and everything, because everything that you're doing, I feel, will help you improve by 1%. So once he started doing it, his scores also improved. He didn't score very highly, but at least it did not become a very big panic or an anxiety driven thing that, okay, in verbal, I'm going to completely suffer. Even though his score was improving, 1 week before the examination, I remember he came to our office because the last few weeks, people who are working in Krakow, they take the days off to prepare for CAT. So like a few days before CAT, again, he came back to office and said that, okay, sir, my verbal score is dropping tremendously. Whatever improvement I had made has completely vanished. Now I'm again scoring in negative marks. Then again, I felt that, okay, this is just self-doubt. He's just doubting his efforts. He's just doubting his progress. So I just told him again in a logical manner that it won't happen that if you're scoring well for the last few months, suddenly 1 week before the examination, you are going to score poorly. And he had his diary where he was maintaining the scores of how much he scored in each of the sectional. So when I explained to him that, okay, all of these things, if you're looking at your sectional scores, if you're scoring 20 in a few sectionals, suddenly if you're getting negative, it is not what you are. You have clearly put in much more effort this year as compared to the last few years. So it is just logical that your verbal score would improve. Now, all of these things might seem logical, but if you are driven with this anxiety or self-doubt, you will stop thinking logically. So all I did was just make him look at it logically, calm his nerves, and he did very well in the examination. In the CAT examination, again, he wanted to score 80 percentile plus in verbal to get shortlist. But I think if I'm not wrong, he scored 95 percentile plus in verbal. And overall, again, he did very well in quant and LRDA. And he got a shortlist from IIM Ahmedabad. He got a shortlist from IIM Calcutta. He did not get a shortlist from IIM Bangalore because I think his profile was not very good. And he managed to convert IIM Calcutta. Even IIM Ahmedabad, in the interview, he did well, but I think he got waitlisted and he was not able to convert it. The waitlist did not convert. Essentially, I'm telling you this story is because when he was suffering from self-doubt, he just faced it. He just attacked it. He just said that, okay, verbal is my clear issue. Now, the only way I'll get over this verbal fear is by taking more and more verbal sectionals. I will suffer. The first few sectionals I take, maybe the scores will be negative, but I'll do everything it takes to improve by 1%. So I'll speak to everybody in English. I'll read only English newspapers. I'll watch English sitcoms, because till then he used to watch only Hindi movies. But for the last few months, he felt that, okay, whatever it takes, I'm going to do again and again until I achieve my target. That, I think, is an attitude which all of us can inculcate. So stop demotivating yourself. If you are feeling that, okay, I'm having these self-doubts, it is okay. Know that it is common. It happens to each and every one of us. But don't dwell in it. Don't tell yourself multiple times that, okay, I'm not going to succeed. Because if you keep telling that multiple times, you'll start believing it. And if you start believing it, you'll be demotivated and you'll not put in as much effort as it is needed. On the other hand, if you're telling yourself positive things, when you're having self-doubt, just tell yourself, even if you don't believe it, that I'm going to do well, I'm going to do well, I'm going to do well. Keep telling this to you multiple times. After a point of time, you'll actually start believing it and you'll put in more effort to actually succeed. which will help you actually reach your target. All the best and prepare well for CAT. Now, students who are preparing for CAT, Krakow offers a lot of free resources, which I would recommend you to use. We have 3 free mocks. All of them are in the latest pattern with video solutions. You can find the link to the CAT free mocks in the description of this video.